Hello, my merciful brothers and sisters. It is I, Mr. Mercy, coming at you with my E3 2017 EA Play wrap-up. I would call this wrap-up reactions, but it's not really reactions since I kind of already did that. I kind of realized that, like, halfway, like, doing the last conference there in Nintendo, I kind of realized, oh, wait, I can't really call it wrap-up reactions because I've already kind of reacted to everything, so... this is just the wrap-up of everything we talk about. I'll give some more of my thoughts and stuff about everything. But we're going to be starting with the EA conference. Now, I also want to let you guys know that sometime coming either this week or next week, I will be uploading a version of my live reactions to the EA Play conference with the audio that was fixed. So I've managed to fix the audio. In my reaction to the EA Play conference, I've boosted up the conference audio so you can hear it a bit better. But I still need to export that. But that'll be coming out and replacing my original live stream video on my channel. I'll make my original one unlisted and then do the new one as public that has the fixed audio. But for now, I'll keep the normal one up there so you guys can still watch it if you want to, just with the terrible audio. Once I do that, I'm going to upload that, and it will replace the original video of the live reactions, but it'll still be the same thing. So, anyways, let's get on with everything that was talked about at EA's EA Play conference. We kicked it off with Madden NFL 18, the long shot reveal trailer. And unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see this live because I was messing around with the stream, because if you guys actually watched the stream, you'll saw that I was using Twitch, and for some reason OBS, I had the browser feed coming in from EA's, pop-out player for their Twitch channel. For some reason, even after EA went live for E3, their player there, their Twitch browser, just didn't, load up the live feed. It just kept it offline, so I kind of missed this opening announcement from the EA conference. But I did see it later online. I did see people talking about it. I got to watch the trailer later. Madden NFL 18, the long shot reveal trailer. So long shot is going to be the first ever story mode for Madden NFL, which is something that I have been really, really wanting since last year. If you guys managed to watch my coverage and my reactions to E3 2016's, news and stuff coming out of all the different conferences, on my old channel, you'll mention that when you'll remember that when FIFA 17 was announced, I said, oh man, I really wish something like this would be in Madden instead of FIFA, and now it's finally here. So that's made me really, really happy to finally see a story mode in Madden. I was actually just playing Madden just a couple hours ago before I started doing this video here. So, Madden NFL 18 Longshot follows the career of the fictional player Devin Wade, and it follows him from being inspired to play football by his dad, who seems to be some kind of like coach for maybe some high school, football team, and then it shows him playing in the Division I of the NCAA, which is cool that we got the NCAA back in EA's hands again. I mean, it's not a standalone game, but at least we get to experience some of the NCAA in Madden now, which is cool. And it finally leads to him being drafted into the NFL. So it looks like it's going to be a very emotionally driven story, which is good. I know a lot of people praised the journey from FIFA 17 last year for its really gripping and emotional story, and it looks like there's going to be some turmoil, because I was reading up on more on on Longshot, and it seems like this is going to follow the career of a guy who's kind of given up on football. He's considering not even playing anymore. He just wants to quit and get a quote-unquote real job. And it also looks like maybe there's some turmoil between him and either like a friend or a brother who also wanted to be drafted into the NFL. So it's going to have some really great, like, emotional, dramatic storytelling, and I can't wait to see what they bring to Madden NFL 18. It's not coming to the Switch, unfortunately, from all I can see. There has been no announcement that it's coming to the Switch. But I probably will pick it up later when it's cheaper. Not that I don't want to get it now, but I just kind of don't have the money for it right now. So I'm going to wait until it goes on sale, probably, and then pick it up. But I can't wait for Madden NFL 18. They may release it on the Switch eventually if FIFA 18 sells well on the Switch, but we'll see how that goes. in the coming years. So next they moved into the Battlefield 1 community sizzle reel. This was cringy as hell. It's that signature EA cringe that they have like every time. Like they can't seem to get rid of it. But it was cool how they had Roosterteeth featured, because I actually love watching Roosterteeth, especially The Know. That's kind of how I get all my gaming news, is from Roosterteeth, The Know show on YouTube. So we got to see, and before I even started watching Roosterteeth, I watched Inside Gaming with Sir Lawrence and Adam Kovic and stuff. So I watched all those guys, and now they're on Roosterteeth's Funhouse brand. So they actually showed a little bit of the Funhouse stream of Battlefield 1, and we got to actually see some of the people from The Know and from Funhouse in that. So that was kind of cool to see that on the E3 stage, for me anyways. Probably not cool for anybody else, but to see, people from The Know and Roosterteeth on the E3 stage, that was kind of cool. So next we moved into a couple of announcements for Battlefield 1. The first was night maps, and night maps have been officially revealed to be coming to the game. The first one is Neville Knights, which is launching sometime in June this month, so get excited for that. And the second one is Prise de Terreur, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and that is coming in July. So those are two new night maps. I don't know if they said they were going to be free or paid DLC. I think they said they were going to be free maps that were coming, so that's exciting. And the next thing that they announced for Battlefield 1 was the brand new expansion, In the Name of the Czar, which takes place on the Eastern Front, has 6 new maps, also includes the Russian Army, new vehicles and weapons, and the Women's Battalion of Death, which is apparently a group of all-female soldiers who fought in the Russian Army in World War I, so that's really, really interesting. And they also announced a deeper player progression system. What that means, I don't know, because I don't know what the progression system they have is, and I don't know, what they're getting at by a deeper progression system. But we'll see. That's launching sometime in September. And the final thing that was announced for Battlefield 1 was a new competitive mode, but they didn't get too deep into that. They said they'd have more information on Battlefield 1's competitive mode at Gamescom, which is coming this August in 2017. So, as far as Gamescom, I don't know if I'm going to be doing coverage. It kind of depends on what they're going to be showing online. If they do a live stream of Gamescom, maybe they did one last year, so I don't know why they wouldn't this year. But I'll see what's coming out of Gamescom, and we'll see maybe if I can cover Gamescom this August. But I'll check that out and get back to you guys on that at a later date. So the next thing they announced the next thing they went into really kind of pissed me off, though. It was a really, really cringy EA eSports scissor reel for the second goddamn year in a row. This was one of my most hated things about their presser in 2016, and they brought it back for 2017. Why? Does anybody care about the esports? Every year they try to spin it as saying, oh, all these really successful esports players, that could be you. But we all don't buy that. We all know that this is for the best of the best, and it's for the top 1% of the player base for all of their different sports games. And the rest of us who are just kind of enjoying the game casually don't have what it takes to do this, and they keep trying to pitch it as if we do, and that's really goddamn annoying. EA, please stop pushing esports down our throat. Yes, you can be excited about esports, but keep it out of E3. Don't bring esports to E3. All right? Unless you're holding some kind of tournament, don't bring esports to E3. Just, talk about that at a later... You can drop that whenever you want. You don't have to waste our time and waste your time on stage talking about EA esports. It's just stupid. But we also found out that there will be more info on Madden eSports this summer. So next, we went into the World's Sport trailer for FIFA 18. Now, normally, even though I'm not a FIFA fan, I don't play the FIFA games. I mean, I actually kind of like soccer. Like, I liked watching the World Cup in 2014. That was really cool. But I don't know enough about soccer. I don't play soccer, and I don't play FIFA. So it's hard for me to get excited about FIFA games. But even in the past, you know, with other FIFA games, I could appreciate them for their innovation, and I could appreciate, you know, what they were bringing to the table for the FIFA fans, and I kind of put myself in the shoes of a FIFA fan and asked, if I was a fan of FIFA, would I be excited about this? And for FIFA 18, I can't say that I am. I can't say, even putting myself in the shoes of a FIFA fan, I can't say that this has me excited at all. Because the only interesting thing that they noticed, I mean, they said something about really beautiful and amazing atmospheres, and they talked in length to some of the journalists and stuff there about how each stadium is gonna have a different kind of atmosphere, which I don't necessarily buy that. That sounds more like kind of like a PR kind of a way to basically resell us the same kind of improved crowd system that they had from last year. So, you know, I don't think that's a really big announcement. But the only big thing that they announced was that world-renowned soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo is providing the motion capture for the game. But beyond that, nothing else was notable about the trailer, except for the music. I really did like the music in that trailer. That was a really good song choice they had, and I kind of want to listen to that more. But yeah, that was kind of a really boring trailer. It made FIFA 18 look boring. I think what they should have done, instead of, since they had so little things to show for FIFA 18, what they should have done is, prior to E3, revealed all they wanted to reveal about FIFA 18, and then go into E3 talking about the FIFA 18 port for the Switch. That would have been a much better use of their time on stage. Then we went into a really cringy Men in Blazers segment, which I guess I looked up the Men in Blazers. There are apparently some commentators on NBC who cover soccer. So they came out to talk about the sequel campaign to the Journey in FIFA 18. It was just a really cringy thing with a lot of bad jokes. It didn't land very well. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people said they had good chemistry together. Yeah, they might have good chemistry together, but I don't know if that necessarily made it good. I don't know if that took away from the cringe factor of any of it. And then we went into, they kind of introduced the Journey Hunter Returns trailer for FIFA 18, which of course is the sequel campaign to last year's FIFA 17 and the Journey. So the story for the Journey Hunter Returns continues with Alex Hunter being faced with the option to possibly transfer teams, and it looks like they're presenting it in a way where soccer fans are split on the issue. Some fans really want him to transfer to another team, while other fans want him to stay where he is, and he is kind of conflicted with it himself about whether he should transfer or not. And it looks like they're going to have a lot of that same emotional storytelling that all the FIFA fans love from FIFA 17. So if I had to point out to one good thing about FIFA 18, it's probably about their new story campaign for this one. So it was also said later, this wasn't announced in the presser, but it was announced later that Alex Hunter will be kinda customizable a little bit. That's gonna happen for the first time, but you'll only be able to change things like his hair, his clothes, and his tattoo options. You can't go full on, I'm gonna make him a white guy and make him look like me or anything, and completely changes everything about him. No, it's still going to be the same Alex Hunter. You're just kind of choosing his style, so to say. You're not really customizing him the way you want, and you're not going to make him look like you or anything, unless you already look like Alex Hunter, in which case you're probably all fine. But it was also announced that the Switch version, this wasn't at the presser either, but it was announced that the Switch version, it would be missing some features, but and that kind of worried a lot of people. But later, when people got their hands on the game on the Switch, which they did have at their Fan Fest in LA, people got their hands on it, and a lot of people said it was still really good. A lot of people really liked it. The missing features weren't enough to dissuade it from, you know, being a success on the Switch. So that's really good to hear, and I hope that it sells well, because that means that EA can bring more of its sports franchises, including Madden NFL, to the Switch, and that would be fantastic. So from there, we went into some Need for Speed Payback, and that they had a gameplay demo for that. It started with this really awkward, failed intro from Jesse Wellens of Prank vs. Prank. God, I don't know if he was just nervous or if the teleprompter screwed up on him, but he was just so flustered and flabbergasted. It was probably, watching all the conferences, I mean, there were some other bumbles from some other companies, but I'd say that his was probably the biggest bumble or a biggest, like, fumble, whatever you want to call it, biggest fumble of the entire E3. Like, Jesse's intro to Need for Speed Payback was kind of like the worst screw-up at E3, I should say. Well, apart from Bethesda's entire conference, but we'll get to that in another video. So the trailer was neat. It was a really well-made trailer, but I think it had a little bit too much polish, and that kind of, like, scared some people off, because it made it seem like it was all staged, and it was all, it wasn't real gameplay. It kind of looked like it was kind of like just fake gameplay, maybe running an engine. So another thing that I didn't really like all that much is it looked like it's more like a crime drama with car racing than a proper Need for Speed, get in a car, hit the streets, race people kind of a thing. It looked more, like I said, like a crime drama. And people have been comparing it a lot to the Fast and Furious. People are saying it's like the new post 2009 Fast and Furious, where it's all about, you know, being an international spy and less focused on, you know, racing, like it used to be, and that's sad. That's sad to see Need for Speed go this route. I was really excited. I was really hoping this was going to be kind of like a spiritual successor to Underground, which is one of my favorite Need for Speed games, plus, you know, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. But then again, every game for Need for Speed these days still like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, because they realize how many people love that game. So, but that's kind of gotten old for me. The customization does look deep, which is good, but it's not, without that kind of like street racing, kind of like, you know, Underground kind of tone. I don't think the customization really matters to me. It was, you know, it was a combination of being able to really trick out your car and make it look really, really nice, in conjunction with, you know, the women, the nightlife, the music, you know, all that street racing culture that we've come to know from, you know, Fast and Furious and Need for Speed and stuff like that. So without that latter portion, Payback just feels kind of weak and flat. So I probably won't be picking this one up. But I mean, hey, we'll see how it does. See if people like it. If it gets positively reviewed enough, I'll consider it. But from this E3 reveal alone, it did not sell me. Then we went into something that I kind of that I predicted. A lot of people didn't even think about it, because I think a lot of people had forgotten about it, simply because the games that this brand kind of churns out don't really do well sales wise, so a lot of people don't think about it, but I did. I was excited for it last year, and I was excited to hear about it this year. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a disappointment, and that is a new EA Original title. And EA Originals, if you guys remember, is EA's program they started like a couple years ago to give back to the indie developers, and you know, they get pitches from indie developers, and they let those indie developers keep 100% of the profits from their games, and EA just helps them publish and provides, you know, some of their staff to help them, as long as they get, you know, the rights to promote the game and associate their brand with it. So I thought that was a really cool program, and we did get a new EA Original title. Although this one, the reason why this one probably didn't strike me as well is that it's already from a creator who has had a successful indie game in the past. It wasn't some, you know, first-time developer who was all nervous about his big break to get onto the E3 stage and show us his very, niche little game. This was a bigger indie developer coming out and saying, hey, I made a new game, and it's part of, EA's program. But it was created by the creator of the acclaimed Xbox 360 indie game Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and it was called A Way Out. And we got a reveal trailer for it. And what it looks like is it's going to be a couch co-op only game, which is very, very interesting. I know a lot of people feel like couch co-op is dead for the most part, but it looks like we might be starting to see with things like the Switch and especially, this new indie title, that we might be seeing a revival of couch co-op, which would be fantastic. I mean, couch co-op is not necessarily a big thing for me. I'll get into why later, but I'm glad to see, that more companies are putting emphasis on, really bringing that couch co-op back. This game kind of reminded me a lot of Prison Break, the game, which was not a very good game. The only thing that was different about this is it looked like it had better visuals and probably better gameplay, but tonally it just looked one-to-one with Prison Break, the game. So it didn't look very, unique in the concept department, apart from the gameplay mechanics, which was very unique. How it's co-op only. You can't go into this as a single player experience. You have to go into this with someone else. This is a co-op only game.
What's your plan?
They said it will allow for online co-op, but it was later revealed that this online co-op will not include matchmaking. You're not going to be able to play this game with some random stranger across the world for co-op. You'll have to do it in a private lobby for co-op. So unfortunately, there's no matchmaking. So, and this is what leads me to my final point: is it's a unique concept. I really like the concept of having like a co-op only game. But the problem for me is that not only is it not interesting of a setting, it's like these, two guys who try to break out of prison together and then, go do some more crimes and stuff. It's kind of played to death. Not only is that not interesting to me, but it's also due to the fact that that I'd have no one to play with. I don't have anybody. I have very few friends. I have, even fewer friends who'd be interested in getting this game and playing with me anyway. So, with no one to play with and an already lukewarm response to the setting of the game, I don't see myself picking this one up. And I wish that EA would kind of, shy away from, these bigger indie developers who have known to already have hits in the past, and to take a chance on the smaller guys, who, like the guy who made Unravel, like the guy who's making Fee, and bring these guys out onto E3 and have them show us, their unique little games that they're trying for the first time and that they're really passionate about, and it doesn't feel more like a cash grab. This one kind of felt like a cash grab to me a little bit, so that's why I didn't really like it. And next we got a gameplay trailer for the same game, A Way Out. Not much to really note there. It was just, going over some of the mechanics and how, you can be in each other's cutscenes and stuff. And it was not that interesting to me. Next we went into an introduction for the Seed team, which is not a game, but it's a new research and development team at EA, which is tasked with designing new technology and concepts related to gaming. So they're talking about, they're looking into artificial intelligence, they're looking into, robotics, they're looking into all these different ways that they can implement this technology into gaming, and perhaps even expand further out from gaming, just into the real world applications, and work with, these big firms, maybe like IBM, and these other big companies working in the tech sector to create new technology and that can benefit people's lives, whether it's related to gaming or not. So that was something. It was kind of a waste of the E3 time, but at least it was quick. It took less than a minute to get through that. Then we went into a reveal trailer for BioWare's new IP. This is something I call was going to happen. It did happen. and this was a reveal trailer for BioWare's new IP called Anthem. And I will have more of my thoughts about Anthem in the Microsoft E3 wrap-up, because that's kind of where they showed the bulk of the game. But for now, I want you guys to know that this trailer was when the hype in the conference started picking up for me, because like I said, I hadn't seen the Madden NFL trailer, so I didn't know that was there. I thought they had totally missed it by the end of it. But this was the first time I started really getting excited for the conference. I'm like, okay, here's something I can get excited about. Yeah, I'll have more reactions to Anthem later in the Microsoft E3 wrap-up, so go watch that afterwards. Maybe I can put some iCards or something somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have more on Anthem later, but I just wanted to say that Anthem's reveal trailer was astounding and it really got me excited, so I'll have more on that later. Next, we went into NBA Live 18, the fucking shortest gameplay demo of all time. They literally showed like 1 minute of movement being showcased, and they're like, well, that's Madden NFL 18, or not Madden NFL, NBA Live 18. And it was the most boring thing in the entire conference. So from there, we went into a new trailer for NBA Live 18. It was the One trailer. And it was supposed to be this new career mode for NBA Live 18. It lets you choose how you earn reputation. You can earn reputation either by playing in the NBA itself and playing through a traditional league experience, or you can climb the ranks through the streets, through various iconic street courts across the world in 5v5 pickup games, which was interesting. And the reputation kind of now acts like experience in this new kind of RPG-like progression system, where you level up your player and it grants your player special gear like new shoes and new outfits and stuff, as well as higher stats. So, I mean, I'm not an NBA fan. I don't watch NBA. I don't play NBA Live. I mean, I tried playing one of the 2K NBA games a while back when they had a demo, and I couldn't even figure out how to play. So, but that's something worth mentioning, is that NBA Live 18 will have a demo coming to PS4 and Xbox One this August. So no release date given on the actual game itself, but they did say that we're getting a demo this August, so that should be interesting. And you get to try out this new career mode called the One, so that should be interesting if you're a fan of that. So from there, we went into the closing statements. Not really the end of the show, really, but really the last statements before their big reveal of Battlefront II. So the final things that EA had to say were they did a recap of their 2016 Play to Give campaign, which was really nice. They talked about the charities that benefited. They still benefited He for She, which was cool, but they actually changed some of their original charities that were announced from last year's E3. To some what I thought were better ones, including the Pacer organization, against bullying, which I thought was really, really cool of them to do. I thought that too many of their charities were focused on, just tech things. Like, it was just related to charities related to somehow the gaming industry or the tech industry. So I'm glad that they diversified some of their charities, which is good. And the final thing they announced was that EA Access and Origin Access have a 1-week free trial, which is happening this week, which probably by the time you see this video, it's going to probably be close to being over, so I'd recommend it. You get on and do that right away. You can cancel anytime before the end of the week to probably before Saturday to avoid them charging you. You can hop on and download some games. I got in and played a little bit of Titanfall earlier, and they got a bunch of other things like Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, Madden NFL 17, Star Wars Battlefront, so they have a lot of cool games you can get in and play for free pretty much this week, so that's interesting. And then they went into their big thing, and that was Star Wars Battlefront II. The introduction started out with showing John Boyega's tweet asking about a single-player campaign for the game, and it showed how viral it went and how everybody was talking about, having a single-player campaign. Although I think they gave John Boyega a little bit too much credit for that, because the fans were clamoring for that long before John Boyega asked about it. But they showed all the fan responses too. They showed all the fans asking oh, like why can't we have a campaign in Battlefront? And they kept like showing a bunch of different tweets pop up about that. So they kicked it off with Janita Gavankar, I believe her name is. And she's the actress who plays Commander Iden Versio, the leader of the Inferno Squadron, Imperial Inferno Squadron in Battlefront II. And she took the stage accompanied by the Imperial March with a whole bunch of stormtroopers coming out on stage. It was beautiful. And they came from all different eras, from the Clone Wars all the way up to the new trilogy with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So that was really, really cool to have all the stormtroopers come out and introduce her. And she looked amazing too. She looked beautiful. And then Janita talks about how the new campaign in Battlefront II will canonically, this is going to be part of canon Star Wars lore, will canonically bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. So this is kind of like, Battlefront II is pretty much going to be episode 6.5, pretty much, which is kind of crazy. So that's really exciting. And she said it has more than 3 times the content of the original game, so basically a normal-sized game. Yeah, I know everybody's been making that joke, but I had to do it because I don't want it to seem like I'm harping on them for giving us more. I just think it's kind of pathetic how they had to say that in the first place and how they tried to make it sound impressive when it's really not. How you're basically just giving us what you should have been giving us from the start. But yeah, I am happy that there's 3 times the content, so to speak. And it's gonna be exciting. Also, couch co-op returns with skirmish mode, which we haven't seen since, I believe, probably Battlefront 2 on the PS2 and Xbox, I do believe. It certainly wasn't in 2015's Battlefront, so yeah, couch co-op returns with skirmish mode. That's going to be cool. And then they went into something interesting, which was the Star Wars Battlefront II Game Changers sizzle reel. And what this was a little video that showed how closely DICE was working with the people in the Battlefront community and the Star Wars community. Just in general, they brought in, they worked with Lucasfilm too, but they brought in, they also brought in just fans. They just brought in regular fans of who are influencers, and brought them. They secretly flew them out to Stockholm, and had them sit down and work one-on-one with the DICE developers to make sure they got Battlefront 2 right. And I think that's really, really, really awesome. And this entire Battlefront 2 reveal was them addressing literally every complaint that the fans had about the first Battlefront. And even before the conference started, before the Madden NFL trailer even, the CEO of EA came out and mentioned how much negative feedback they got for Battlefront. That really was a blow to their business, and it was a wake-up call. It really was for them, and they're like, okay, we really need to make sure we please the fans. We can't jerk them around. We can't try to screw them financially. We can't rape their wallets. We need to make sure we get this right this time. We need to make sure we make the fans happy, because the fans were not happy with us last time. And it must have reflected in sales. It must have reflected in the DLC sales, and that helped convince corporate to be like, okay, yeah, we need to make sure we don't try to gouge these people for money. We need to make sure we get this right this time. And I thought it was really, really awesome how it wasn't a game developer. It wasn't one of the people working on the game. It was actually a member of the community, a fan of Star Wars Battlefront 2, that got to officially introduce and reveal the worldwide multiplayer reveal trailer, which I thought was really cool, how a fan gets to come up and say, E3, I'm proud to present Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer. And apparently during the sizzle reel they showed how the multiplayer reveal trailer was made through footage that was captured of their games, the fans' games, the Game Changers over at DICE. The fans' gameplay was what was recorded. A bug in my ear. The fans' gameplay was what was recorded for that trailer, which is kind of amazing. So of course, then they went into the multiplayer reveal trailer, and this is when my hype levels just burst through the roof. And they really tried to hammer home that this isn't just, your father's Star Wars game. This isn't just episodes 4, 5, and 6. This is every episode. We're talking 1, probably all the way through 9. This is gonna cover. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all gonna be here, and that's really, really, really good. I'm happy that they finally brought back the clone troopers and the prequel era. I know that compared to the originals, the prequels aren't as loved. I'm aware. I'm very much aware of this. But as somebody who's grown up with the prequels, I can't help but love them. They're the movies I grew up with, and they're the movies I remember the most fondly. If I had grown up around the time the original Star Wars movies were coming out, maybe I would have been in that camp with the original trilogy people. But I grew up with the prequels. I recognize their faults, but those are the movies that I love the most out of the Star Wars trilogy, or the Star Wars saga, I should say. And I'm glad to see them back in Battlefront 2. Also, Palpatine's not dead, apparently. Near the very end of the trailer, they showed some kind of hologram of Palpatine in this new kind of body, which is really interesting. So maybe Darth Vader did not kill Palpatine at the end of Return of the Jedi. We'll see what that's all about. But yeah, that kind of caught me off guard, how we saw Palpatine like that. And the final announcement before they got to the final thing of the press conference, regarding Star Wars Battlefront 2, John Boyega, of course the star of The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and of course whatever Episode 9 turns out to be, he came on screen. He wasn't actually able to be there at the show. He said he was doing a play in London, but he came on screen to officially announce that both Finn and one of my most recent favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, Captain Phasma, were coming to Battlefront 2, and they were coming as part of the first content drop inspired by The Last Jedi, which is coming very soon, which is probably going to be coming shortly after the movie launches this December. So that was really, really exciting. But probably the biggest thing that sold me on this game was that all Battlefront 2 DLC will be 100% free. We're not doing a season pass. We're not doing, expansions. All content, including heroes, vehicles, weapons, all of this stuff, maps, all of this will be free. And that's really, really cool. And personally, in my opinion, they could have charged. They could have charged us, and I still would have been happy. They could have charged just a little bit, and I think that the rest of the fans would have been happy. My only problem that a lot of other people had was that the price they were charging for last year, or not last year's, but 2015's Battlefront was outrageous. Because their season pass cost almost as much as the base game, so you're essentially buying 2 games from them. So it was just the outrageous price that they had. It wasn't necessarily that they charged us to begin with. It was that it was a $50 season pass. They could have dropped it down to maybe $30 or $25, and people still would have been happy. But no, EA really wanted to go that extra mile to win back our trust and make all that post-launch content absolutely free, to not only give fans' wallets a break, but also to avoid splitting up the player base amongst those who could afford the DLC and those who couldn't. And they deserve massive props for that. Good job, EA. That was a bold move. Now, this wasn't discussed in the presser, but of course, when you hear that all post-launch content is going to be free, you immediately have to recognize that means there's going to be microtransactions. And yes, there will be microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I'm happy to report that it will only be tied to the progression system to unlock cosmetics. And it doesn't. They've said that they don't want it to be a pay-to-win formula, and it will not be a pay-to-win formula. So people who pay won't be able to unlock more powerful stuff faster. It just means that you're going to be able to progress through the game, unlock the customization options much faster, and that's all it's going to be there for. So that means that, unfortunately, The progression system, a lot of people complain about the progression system in the original Battlefront. It looks like that's one complaint that is not going to be addressed, that they're still going to have a really, really slow progression system, because why would they make it faster if they use the microtransactions to fuel that? So unfortunately, the progression system is probably going to be slow as balls. But I will take a slow-ass progression system over a $50 season pass any day. Like, I don't care if it takes me 3 years to unlock everything in that game. I will gladly take the slow progression system over that really expensive season pass and the expensive DLC. So that's good. And pre-order bonuses were also announced. They announced the pre-order bonus, which was access to the closed beta, and a special legendary Yoda's Lightsaber Mastery star card. So you get to actually like upgrade Yoda's lightsaber or something in the game with that. So that's cool. And the final thing that was revealed at the presser was Assault on Theed, which was the worldwide multiplayer gameplay reveal demo of Star Wars Battlefront 2. It was a 20-minute, 20 versus 20 multiplayer gameplay demo on the city of Theed in Naboo. It was the Clone Army versus the Separatist Alliance. But what was really cool and interesting and welcome was the fact that this only applies to the infantry. If you play in the Clone Wars era, you're not going to be limited to the Clone Wars heroes like you were in previous Battlefronts. So you can access heroes from all eras, and they did this in the actual demo. They had, no, and I'll get to the heroes they had, but so the demo consisted of a 3-stage mode, which the first stage involved the droid army escorting a MTT tank up to the Naboo Royal Palace. And the second stage consisted of the droids actually storming the palace and attacking it, and the final stage involved them capturing the throne room. So all the while, of course, the clone army is there trying to hold back the push and stop them from doing that, and protect the royal palace. And can I just mention how the game looks fucking gorgeous? I mean, the original Battlefront, not the original, but the 2015 reboot of Battlefront also looked amazing with that photogrammetry technique that they used, but by God, the new Battlefront 2 looks probably even better. It just the effects that they have and the scenery and how they bring Star Wars to life. It's unbelievable. It is truly awe-inspiring. I think they picked a good map to show off at E3. Air combat, they showed off too with a bunch of different vehicles. I'm not going to go into all the different vehicles they showed, but that looks really cool. We'll have to see how it controls, because I know a lot of people, including myself, had problems with the controls for the original Battlefront, or the reboot of Battlefront. Their space controls or their air controls just really lackluster and didn't help. And I hope that they bring back the controls from the OG Battlefronts, Battlefront 1 and 2 on PS2 and Xbox. That would be good if they brought back those controls, because those were really intuitive controls and those work really nicely. But if these air vehicles control well, then it'll be a good thing. We'd also got to see footage from one of the land vehicles, apart from one of the Separatist tanks, and that was the AT-RT, which is one of my favorite clone vehicles. So that's really cool that that's in the game. That was one of my favorite vehicles to ride around in Battlefront 2 on the PS2 and Xbox, so glad to see that's back in the game. And the final thing that was really notable in the Battlefront 2 Assault on Theed multiplayer gameplay reveal was they showed off Darth Maul, as well as Rey, Han Solo, and Boba Fett. So yeah, you had all of these different characters from all 3 generations of Star Wars. You had Darth Maul, obviously, from the prequels. You had Han Solo and Boba Fett from the original trilogy, and then you had Rey from the new trilogy, and they all looked fun as hell. Of course, Rey kind of got taken out by a droid, but yeah, they all looked really cool. And the entire Star Wars Battlefront 2 reveal event was just phenomenal. I loved it. So overall, compared to the other conferences, with number 1 being the best and number 6 being the worst, I'd rank EA as number 5. And I'm going to give the conference a letter grade of a C, which is so basically average. Because the only games that I really got excited for were Madden NFL 18, Anthem, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Those are the only games that I really piqued my interest. Of course, like I said, I'll cover more of my thoughts on Anthem in the Xbox conference later on my wrap-up video for that. But the teaser they showed here really did get me hyped to see more of that, and it really made the game look good. Like I said, unfortunately, I missed the Madden NFL 18 trailer live because I was fumbling around trying to get the stream working correctly. So I might have been more excited about that had I seen it live. But for what it is and for what we got in the trailer, I'm really happy and pleased with what we got. And of course, the big one that really propped up the entire conference for me and kept it from getting a failing grade was Battlefront 2. Because Battlefront 2 still remains the only game I've pre-ordered out of E3. I mean, I've seen all the conferences, I've seen all the games, and while there are other games that I'm more excited about, Battlefront 2 was probably the only game that I was really itching to play. Like, I literally couldn't wait to get my hands on it. Like, I was really impatient to get this game in my hands and play it, and that was, you know, a really exciting, not really pleasant, but exciting feeling to have. And it's still, like I said, it's the only game I've pre-ordered so far out of E3. The game that I'm like, okay, I can't wait to have this. I need to have this the second it comes out. And that was a really successful advertising push that EA managed to make. And hopefully, since I did pre-order it, I'll be able to bring you guys Battlefront 2 content, even when the beta drops sometime. I think they said it's sometime in October. I think they said it's dropping. So yeah, I'll hopefully be able to bring you guys more Battlefront 2 content in October and November. But anyways, that was my wrap-up of the EA Play conference from E3 2017. We have more wrap-ups to come. We have Microsoft, we have Bethesda, we have Ubisoft, we have PlayStation, and we have Nintendo. All of these are going to be, I'm going to be covering, you know, everything that was talked about in these wrap-ups for all those different conferences throughout the week. So keep it tuned right here on MisterMercy for, I guess, more continuing E3 coverage and talking about everything that happened. E3 has been phenomenal. This has been one of the best E3s of recent memory, and I'm super excited to see what, you know, the next year holds for gaming. So remember, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I am Mr. Mercy. Peace, everyone.